Hello, everyone. It's Retro Nerd Girl. I'm broadcasting live from the International Science Fiction Space Station, and I'm really happy to be here with you guys today. It is a very interesting day. Um, it is, let me see, I think 19 degrees. It's pretty cold. I have an extra layer of something here to keep me a little bit cozier than normal. And I hope you will bear with me because I only got 15 minutes of sleep. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened, but I could not fall asleep. Yeah, it's just one of those days. Oh, maybe somehow later on I might get some sleep. But for now, I'm up and ready to go. Let's see. Can you guys hear me? I think. Oh, okay. Yes, he has said that he hears me, and William Blake Hall says loud and clear, hailing frequencies. Retro. The ISFSS is looking fine. I may have to step away for a while, but I'll be around. Okay. Thank you. Well, yes, thanks for letting me know. And Unicorn Rampant Studio was the first comment today. Says, "Good morning, just chiming in from busy town at the corner of wet and windy." That's so cute. That is so cute. And my goodness, thank you so much for this wonderful gift. $20.24 super chat for today. Says, "I hope the year is off to a good start for you and everyone." Yes, it is. It really is. Allergies, of course. And I've got two emojis here. And I've got for after you, there's a little that's supposed to be me, the retro nerd girl. And then we've got the world. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And I do have a thank you for you. Let's see if I can find it. Ah, here we are. It's these little music pieces that really wake me up. And the one coffee one this morning, I was dancing to that one, got me like really perked up immediately. Unicorn Rampant Studio says, "I just saw that you have a 1 year anniversary stream coming up. So much has happened. I look forward to rehashing things with you on and off for what you think of the last, at least, what you think at least 7 hours, no pressure." Well, yeah, I hope it's not going to be 7 hours. I really hope it's not. For my sanity and for yours as well. But I definitely wanted to. There's going to be a lot of celebrations this year. I was looking at all the different places in on the calendar where there's going to be celebrations. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot. So, yeah, it should be a fun year. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more fun little things like that. I actually enjoyed the a lot of the celebration events we had last year as well. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this is going to be great. I can't believe it's been a year and I'm still doing it and enjoying it. So yeah, we're just keeping on. And William Blake Hall is talking to Rhinoceros Unicorn, right? And says, "Yet again, I'm here without planning on it, though I may get called away any minute. Getting an orientation at my new place this evening." Oh, that's good. That is good. And Unicorn Rampant Studio says, "I'm sure there will be talk of the future from now. The future, of course. I'm just saying, as a historian of the arts, next year I'll be more interesting once it's over and we're safe at the end of it." Yes. Yes. Um, And also, Unicorn says that, "I'm going to be in the thick of it in the next couple of hours. I'll try to pipe in if I can." Okay. Well, thank you again for that amazing gift. And thank you for being here and just being so awesome to me. I really am appreciate you so very much. You're just amazing. And Keith E is here, says, "Good morning. I'm okay. Will not be reading chat messages, but listening to the book of today." Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, double duty. Well, I hope that you're enjoying your read. I hope it's a good read. And let's see. And William Blake Hall says, "Woohoo, Casablanca coming up. I hope I can be around for that." Yeah, I hope so too. I'm really excited for Casablanca. I heard recently some people didn't said they didn't like the movie so much, and I was like, okay, well maybe I need to revisit it. Maybe fond memories of the past has got me jaded, and I need to re take a look at it again. It's been a long time, so it's almost gonna be like my first time watching, to be honest, because I don't remember how it begins. I only know how it ends. But yes, okay, so now, um, let's see. I it's been kind of a wild one, but give me a second to add my slide for today because oh, it's there are a lot of slides on there. So, yeah, today I will be taking a look at Echo series that's on Disney Plus. It aired yesterday, and they just put all 5 of the episodes on all at once. So that was kind of good because then I could get through all of the episodes, and that kind of cures any issues where you may have waiting around to see what happens the next week and trying to remember what happened the next week. It can get to be very, very frustrating. And so cliffhangers and such. And there were actually there were a lot of clever cliffhangers in this, I have to say. Not a whole bunch, but there were a few. And we'll see. So Echo on Disney Plus. Um, oh, I should have had a title card here. That would have been really good. Um, let's see. Let's see if I can find a good one. Here we go. I don't think I'll use this picture. Okay. I'll use this picture as a title card to start with, but I'm going to go over some details about the show really quickly because my general thoughts about the show is that I liked it, but it had some problems. Um, but I think a lot of people, this is going to be, for some people, this is going to be their favorite thing ever. And for those people who this is really going to be your favorite thing ever, um I I'd say enjoy, 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 enjoy. Um, there are times when I find just pieces of things like TV shows and movies that a lot of people don't like, or they have heavy criticisms about. And those are my favorite things. And so it is definitely something that I have been thinking about, like how um how much I know that some people are going to love this for what it represents to them, and there's just some people who are just going to love it, period. But for me, I had quite a few criticisms about it, and I'll go over it, but on the most part I enjoyed it. So it got a good score from me. Okay. So, um, the story is about Maya Lopez, whose name is also Echo in the show. It says here Maya Lopez must face her past, reconnect with her Native American roots, and embrace the meaning of family and community if she ever hopes to move forward. And yeah, that is a good summation of all 5 of these episodes. Um, and one thing I have to commend on this is the acting. Um, all of the actors in this production are just really incredible actors. They're fantastic actors. And the lead, the young lady who's the lead here is Alaquia Cox, or Alaquia, Alaquia Cox, Alaquia Cox. I can't really pronounce her name very well, um, but she is really wonderful. Miss Cox is doing a fantastic job. She is deaf and she is also an amputee. And I feel in the description of who she is as a character, or how, or the explanation of her situation is definitely done fairly well. There, I think the comic books actually do a better job of developing the character into something really formidable. This is a person who is going to be going up against um, street level thugs that are much bigger than her, with guns and so on and so forth. And so I really wanted there to be a stronger explanation and force behind how she's able to do the things that she's doing. And unfortunately, they did not complete that task, which is a little bit like, it's kind of a hard thing to sell. But in the spirit of fantasy fulfillment, I'll take it. You know what I mean? When we're dealing with a fantasy of something, like the fantasy of, standing up to a bully, or standing up to you know some uh unsurmountable problem. Sometimes you have that fantasy and you want to just, whether you can achieve it or not, it'd be cool to see yourself triumphant. And that's what this is. This is a group of situations that kind of happen, and our characters get out of it, and it's all like really um as fantasy fulfillment for us regular people. Some people are, this is going to be amazing to see that, and some people it's going to be like, so you get what that is there. Let's go. But by the way, though, again, Miss Cox is doing a fantastic job at playing the part of Echo. I think she's a star. She's a star. Um, Now let's go. I want to go to the beginning of the story, um, because what they do in this story is they go all the way to the beginning of Echo's life. Oh, no, no, they go to the beginning of the creation of Echo's uh, tribe, and they tell the story of their formation, which is very interesting because the actual like um it differs quite a bit from the actual lore that uh that has been on record. So I don't know if they did a lot of inventing for this, and that could be something that could bother some people. I didn't mind it. I thought it was interesting and fascinating, and I wanted to know more about it. In fact, I wanted to hang out with these guys in the beginning. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. I get the visual again. Okay. Yes. So this is uh, Chafa, the first uh, Shakto in Indian person that has been created. and she is um, the leader of a group of people. They lived in this sort of they were made out of clay. Is that they were made out of clay, or they were some other beings, and in this place where they are, um, are they emerge to become to come on Earth and become human. So when they come to Earth, they become human. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that properly, but that's what it looks like from the episode I saw. And I thought it was really cool, and they do a series of different things to get to the location where they are. I believe it's Oklahoma, and there's also Alabama. There's a couple of places that they reference, and it's actually interesting because along this Chafa has is like the first, but then after Chafa, there are her descendants, her female descendants in particular, that kind of carry or embody certain attributes, and which Echo will be using later on. And those elements, which I think this is actually kind of cool and should have really been told like to us up front. We don't learn about it until episode 4 or 5, and that's part of the issue that I have with this. The story's good. The story has really good bones on it, um, and it has there's a lot of details in there that are very interesting and very flattering for storytelling. And so I loved all of that detail that they were trying to bring out, the purpose for different things. And I was really seeking more to learn more about the tribe, and to learn more about how that is impacting the main character, Echo. But we kind of go into this whole thing where, especially in the beginning of like episode 1 and 2, it's edited in such a way that you get a lot of scenes just kind of chopped up all over the place, and then they're they're trying to tell a linear story, but it's just completely jumbled up with scenes from Daredevil, the scenes from Hawkeye, uh, that they put in there. So there's a cameo from Hawkeye, and there's a cameo from Daredevil, and it's actually quite interesting because if you're not familiar with any of this stuff, it could be kind of confusing to you, but it is. I was able. I did figure it out, but only because I had prior knowledge about the comics. And to be very honest with you, the comic book iteration of this character, Echo, has so much more development of why she has the powers that she does. And I believe in the true reason for that is that the director said that she did not want she didn't think that any of the powers that the character from the comic book had were interesting, and which is that she can really pretty much mimic any fighting style. It doesn't take her very long, and it all is developed because how hard she had to struggle with being deaf, and that she pushed herself to this incredible level, and she was a child prodigy, pretty much could do anything. And it would have been kind of nice to have a little bit of that in the story. In this story, it focuses on echoes trauma. Okay, this is the lady Chafa when she becomes a human. So this is sort of setting up her family. Her mom, her father are on the left, and her grandmother and grandfather are on the right. And there's a tent in the background where she and her cousin are playing finger puppets and sharing stories and things like that. It's really cute and sweet. And there's sort of like what even though this is a happy moment here, we've got the father is actually mixed up in a lot of um uh crime, you would say, and he works for Kingpin, who is a very, very large villain, if you will. I mean, he's been a villain in many of the Daredevil stories, if you don't know. And so it's kind of interesting because, and this also falls in line with the comic books. Kingpin orders her father's death, but she doesn't know that. Uh, e and, well, I'm going too far ahead, actually. Her mom dies. Her mom dies in a car crash, and that's a huge traumatic moment for her, which comes back in the story, and in a very lovely way, I might add, and very touching and lovely way. So that is actually, um, a point there that I thought was really nice. But then she, as a young girl, her father takes her to New York, and she witnesses the death of her father at the hands of oh, none other but than Hawkeye. At the time, she doesn't know that he's Hawkeye. He's in his Ronin costume, and he tells her that the person who killed me is actually Kingpin. And so it's very interesting. Uh, uh, it's a very interesting storyline because I don't understand it. Okay, so here's where I was really in. If anybody knows the answer to this, let me know. Okay, maybe I just didn't see this properly. She actually witnesses her dad's death, and she is an adult. But they show all of these scenes with her and Kingpin as a child. So I'm trying to figure out, did she the what happened there? Like, when exactly did her father die? Did her father die when, like, why would Kingpin be taking care of her as a child if uh she had a father? I'm completely confused by that. Totally confused, and maybe it's an error that they made. Maybe they intended the story to be a completely different way, but I must be missing something here. So, yeah, that was really kind of weird because if her father is still alive and Kingpin is taking care of her while she's a child, then I can see a lot of the problems with her. But um, according to the lore of what they set up and they showed us, she was a grown person when her father died. So Kingpin had an effect on her to the point of like really like rearing her and raising her and embracing her into this sort of um like this angry person that she becomes. And through her father's death, she decides that she is gonna totally give in to um, her anger, and that is the center point of everything that goes on afterwards, which I think is interesting. It's a definitely an interesting angle of using this anger to fuel you to, do impossible things. So there's a lot of that going on. The fight scenes and action scenes are really pretty okay in my opinion. They're not amazing, but there are some people who really love it. They've never seen this kind of action before in Marvel Disney. I say, I guess you're right. I guess I think so, because I've seen action scenes way more intense, and I was hoping that they were going to bring that intensity through this entire thing. That she was going to be kicking butt the whole time, but she's not. She's not. She is. There's a lot of drama, and I do like that. I love the drama, but it's still unclear why the drama is happening some of the times. So and then finally when you find out why the drama is happening, it 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 feels like, okay, make up, make up and let's move the story along. So yeah, there's certain things that happen in episode 4 I felt could have easily happened in episode 2. So, you know what I'm saying? So all of that stuff in between, not that it's filler. It wasn't filler. I loved a lot of it. I really did. But I just felt like we could have gotten to the punchline a lot quicker and actually told the story a lot more succinctly. And so yeah, that's a real problem. But as far as, again, building out this world around this character, I think they did a great job of doing that, of building the tribe and her family. They really filled out all of that, so you really get an idea of who each character it plays in her life. Except for there were a few characters, 1 or 2 characters, I felt like they didn't get enough time. There's a couple of characters, but on the most part, the main group I thought was them. Let's talk about the child actor here. I think she was fantastic. Let me see if I can find her name. Um, she was incredible. Um, and they matched her to look a lot like her. Uh, and it was actually kind of remarkable. So, uh, let's see if I can find her. Young Maya, Darnell Bisa. She was fantastic. She was fantastic, and it, it was just really pretty good, really pretty good. Um, and oh, what's going on here? Moonbeam says, "Did you hear about the news about Matt Pat retiring from YouTube?" Yes, I did. Yes, that's something we should talk about on my 1 year stream anniversary. We could talk about a lot of stuff like that. For now, I want to stick to this subject for now. But yeah, it's sad. I really, um, I've known of he's been on YouTube for as long as I can remember. Um, and and Moonbeam says Matt Pat is leaving on March 9th, uh, uh, 2024 is important. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure, but we'll see. Um, I will talk about it eventually. Um, and so, yeah, she was fantastic. She was incredible, and I definitely think she is um, a wonderful little actress. And there's a situation where the little girl, uh, and this is where I'm having such a hard time figuring out the timeline on this, is spending time, Kingpin has picked her up from school, but before she gets to Kingpin, in his car, she's trying to ask somebody at a stand for, I believe, an orange or some sort of treat, and he's just so rude to her and so mean to her, and she just gives up and walks away. And Kingpin, you know, leaves the car and then goes around the corner and just beats him up. And that was pretty graphic. And to be very honest, this scene was leaked onto the internet on purpose. And and so when you leak a scene that's graphic, this should have been really something we saw for the first time when we saw the show. It should not have been leaked because it is giving us too much too soon, right? We're not getting the surprise and the this is not horrible to me because I've already seen the scene already. I've already seen it. So it's not shocking. So that was another thing that I felt like they should have done marketing wise, was held back on some of the things that they were going to show us, unless they were going to show us new graphic scenes. And there was one graphic scene, I think, that was, definitely not a Disney kind of thing, but I was expecting more. I guess I was expecting a lot more violence. So yeah, that was kind of, um, not that I'm a seeker of these things, but if you tell me this is mature and it's super violent and I'm ready, I'm looking out for these things, and I didn't see it so much in this. Definitely would not show this to your kids, but unless you were present and you could explain things, but um, it was definitely that. But one thing that surprised me about this scene is that he was trying to like say, "Hey, look, don't let Maya see me like this." And there she is. She already saw him like, beating up on this guy, but she um can't, she joins in and starts beating up the guy. And so they have this unique bond, these two. And so again, it is very uncertain when this Kingpin has started to take her under his wing, because her father at this point is supposed to be alive. So I was not sure how that was working, where um, Kingpin is babysitting a child. I mean, who would let their kid be babysit by a crime lord? And why does he have time for this? So it's very unusual. We don't get explanations for any of that. And I think we needed it. We needed some kind of explanation. Yes, Wilson Fisk. That is Kingpin's actual name, is Wilson Fisk. Um, and we get, like I said before, we get a nice little cameo from Daredevil, and that fight scene was actually kind of fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. And there's a fight scene with Ronan, basically Hawkeye, and that was also very fun. There's some very interesting stunts in that particular scene. Um, and yeah, I did not expect to see Hawkeye in this. I know that she was in Hawkeye, and they had some scenes in there, but I did not know that she was um, he was going to appear. But after Hawkeye tells her that Kingpin is the one who killed her father, or ordered the kill to, the death of her father, she shoots him, and she shoots him in the eye. Um, but Kingpin is one of those characters, I believe he can't die like normal people. I don't know if anyone knows the lore behind it, but he can't just die like other people can. So that was just, that did not really matter. And this coincides with the comic books quite well. They definitely, you know, did a good job of trying to match those two things together. Another person of interest in this is, I forgot his name, Cody Lightning. Cody Lightning is fantastic in this. He plays Biscuits, who's Echo's cousin. He's very resourceful and also is kind of a wacky guy, very concerned about how the grandmother is going to perceive him, or he's like, okay, grandma, I messed up, grandma's mad at me, and that's his MO for most of the story. But he, like I said, he's very resourceful and there's a lot of comedy that comes from him, so a very lighthearted character. Now, one of the characters that is in here, I'll talk about him later, but Echo is at her hometown again, trying to she's actually trying to devise a plan in which she can be Queen Pin. So I like that. And when she gets there, the guy behind the counter, unfortunately, is a mole, if you will. He's secretly doing side deals and trying to get the bounty for the person who killed Kingpin. So, and we all know what happens after, with people like this, right? So, the person that I thought was very important had become very important to the script, and also was an incredible character was Henry. His name is Henry in the story. He's being played by Chask Spencer. Uh, wow, wow, wow. His acting was impeccable. Impeccable. So the acting here is really great. Everybody is on their A game. They're doing everything they can to make this work, and it really shows. It really does. And so I do um, love the the rapport that's going on between these two characters, but also I love his acting. He's really killing it. He's definitely a standout too, a standout. Then we have some veteran actors here. Graham Greene, which we've seen in many, many movies, and he he plays the grandpa, but he's also a tinkerer. So he tinkers around and makes things. He's made um, Echo's leg for her prosthetic leg, which I was like, I was hoping that they were gonna do something really cool, like make that prosthetic leg like bionic or something, or have, special, um, strength put into it, or something unique and different, and to make her capable of doing the things that she's doing. Now, she does do a lot of kick work in in her action scenes, and she uses that leg a lot. It would be nice to know that, hey, there was a little extra oomph in that. So I thought that was a missed opportunity to give the character a little bit of extra power. But yes, he's the one who creates her leg for her, and he's a tinkerer. And it just so happens that Echo is a tinkerer as well, but they don't really tell you how she learned those skills. And and she may have learned one or two things from grandpa, but they don't explain that. But also they don't show you any, like, where she gets those skills. They show you that she did learn how to box though, and to fight in um, in a spa where, fighting spa room, but that's about it. And so, yeah, it's really actually cool scenes that they have her, doing a lot of the fight scenes. Um, it looks great, and I I really wanted more action, more intensity, more situations of danger, more tension. That was what I was hoping for, a little bit more of that stuff. Moonbeam says, I know Kingpin does go to prison, but I don't recall a death scene. No, he does. He can't. I don't think he can die. He gets hurt, but he doesn't die. He never dies. Um, he gets hurt, but everybody thinks he's dead. They shoot him, and they think he's dead, but he can't. His metabolism is a lot different than normal people. See, like, this is what I was hoping there was gonna be more of, more fighting, more intensity, going forward. Now, um, part of, and they kind of do this at the end of the season, is make her they give her some they up her powers, but it's super, super random. Super random. You never like, first it's like they give one of the powers is to be able to sense when some danger is happening, which is sort of like a spidey sense. But what usually happens is that an ancestor appears, or she gets a vision of an ancestor, or she sees a woodpecker. And then suddenly this bad thing is happening. It's not like you get like a day's notice or maybe a few hours notice. It like happens like right then. So I'm not so sure um how good this, foresight is, but sometimes it's helpful, right? Because there was a time in which her family was in danger. She saw the woodpecker, and she said, "Okay, we got to go find out what's going on here." And so there are times when it works, and then there's times when it doesn't work. In the comics, she becomes the Phoenix at some point, and this is, they really souped up her powers there, but none of this is happening the uh, in the story. The most that she does get is extra strength, and she does get certain attributes from her ancestors. She gets strategy, cunning, ferocity, and love. So that's what she gets from her ancestors. Now, the love part is one of those things where it's like we did not get that part until maybe you can say the last episode, where it kind of revealed itself, or she uses it to do something interesting. But for the most part of this whole thing, she's angry at everybody. She's angry at her grandparents, or well, her grandmother in particular, that nobody, she didn't come after them and wanting to spend time with her, to take care of her. And then the grandmother reveals that she didn't want to do that because uh, she reminded of her daughter, and it broke her heart. And I was like, I actually cried, and during that point in time, there's a serious amount of drama there, and I thought that was really important to reveal. So yes, these are the powers that she has. Her hands glow, and then she has like extra power to do whatever it is she wants. It's really like a strange power that's not really defined. It's a little random, a little random. But I'm sure they'll figure out something to do with her in the future. Um, and so um, it turns out Kingpin is not dead. He's not dead. He's got an injury on his eye, but he's doing okay. But he does this weird thing where he gives her a contact lens, and he then um, there's a way for him to show sign language, and I thought it was very interesting that all of her family that loves her, they all know how to sign. And he doesn't really like he loves her in the way he can only love her, right? I think he just wants her as a comfort, and he doesn't really love her. And so when he doesn't actually learn how to sign language, he uses a method, a digital hand sign technology to help him. And some people think that that's Stark technology that he's using, and that possibly he may have bought Stark into the Stark building, right? So I mean, that's just like kind of an interesting little drop there. Oh, look, it's Koj. Hi. So swinging by to drop some love. I'd like to check this show sometime. Echo looks interesting. Oh yeah, check it out. Yeah. I mean, um, I I liked it. I have some criticisms, but I liked it. I liked it. Uh, let's see. And so yeah, so she there's this huge like powwow that they're doing, and uh this is something that they've been looking forward to all year, but Kingpin offers her the opportunity to come to New York. She doesn't take it, and so he loses his mind, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get all of them. I kill all of them, and this way there won't be anything between the two of us." And it leads to a very interesting showdown. Here's Echo in the center, and these are all of her ancestors here that have materialized, but I don't think I'm not sure if they're really actually there. It's a kind of a weird thing that happens, but it's actually kind of cool. Um, but this is part of the big showdown that's in this last episode, and I felt like I love seeing them all there, and I would have loved to have seen this earlier. Like, I would love for her to have garnered up her knowledge of her powers by episode 3. This way we can deal with, I've got powers now. What am I going to do with these powers? How am I going to defeat the bad guy? Like actually go through, and who am I now? Because we've gotten through this whole stage where she's pissed off at everybody, she's working through it, but we don't actually get to spend any time to learn who is Echo without the anger. We by the end you don't know that we don't get to really spend enough time with her after this whole thing goes down. So it's really um kind of a missed opportunity to actually kind of give you like more insight into who she may really be. And that's the other thing. That's the other thing. Who is she without her anger? And William Blake Hall says, I was away, so Echo is in the Kingpin universe, perhaps an alternative to Elektra. No, she's not an alternative to Elektra, but I guess you could say that, but Elektra still exists in the same universe um, as well. They're in the same universe, and William Blake also says, I always thought Daredevil and Elektra got short shrift so I'm more interested than usual. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think they're Daredevil gets around. Let's just say Daredevil gets around. And so like he was talking to She-Hulk, right? So that will be interesting to see She-Hulk and Elektra. Sorry, not Elektra, but and Echo. Um, what they're going to be doing. But in this particular iteration of Echo, she is not a a love interest, at least not yet. In the comics, she is a love interest, or temporarily. She was temporarily a love interest. Um, and uh, and yeah, so yeah, I did enjoy the seeing the ancestors show up, but I wanted it to be a little bit more powerful. Um, just a little bit. Like, it would have been really cool for them to walk into her or walk into like one of the other people. They did something which they kind of transferred the powers off to other people. And so we have the grandmother punching these big henchmen, and and it's comical, and at this point it should not have been comical. So um it was definitely a moment I wanted more. Where was the gritty mature stuff? I wanted to see that in this big ending fight scene. And there's a couple of moments here that really uh, kill the believability for me. Like this is happening within a couple of days of time. And even if it was a month later, when Maya gets to the town, um, her hometown, she has a huge gash in her side. Okay. She basically gets, it's a bullet in there. She stitches it up herself. They have to undo the stitches and then fix it all up. She's like fighting and beating everybody up as if like no big deal. No big deal. I just got a little minor surgery on the side here. No big deal. It was a little bit unrealistic, in a lot of places. At one point, she gets hit in the face with a baton, and it doesn't even leave a mark. It doesn't even in the face with a baton, and she doesn't leave a mark, not a mark. And so it's those it's those details that take me out of the story and make me ask, okay, what am I missing here? Does she have powers right now? Like she like literally punched a guy in the face and he flung all the way um on the wall. And I'm like, does she have superpowers? So there are moments when I ask, like, I think a lot of and it might be just the group that does a lot of the fighting, or does a lot of the fighting choreography for these guys, are dealing with characters that have superpowers. So when they're like trying to do action scenes for regular people, maybe they're not taking into consideration that, hey, if I punch a guy, most likely he's not gonna fall back. He may feel a little hurt a little bit if I use all my strength, but he's not gonna fall all the way back into the wall and like practically be knocked out. It takes a lot more. If I had an instrument in my hand, then I hit him. Okay, you've got, there's got to be a little bit more ingenuity, you know. And again, there are moments where she's like flipping and doing some things that are really cool, They figured out some really cool moves to make with the prosthetic that looks actually kind of interesting and cool. And I'm like, wow, uh, I can see where if you could tweak that moment, it could be even more intense if that leg had some sort of super strength to it, or super it you can hear, like, if when she kicks people, you can hear the steel against their skin, like something to give me the idea that when people are getting hit by her prosthetic leg, they're getting, like, plummeted. They're getting pummeled. And so those are some things that I thought um were either lacking or could have used a little bit of work. The editing in particular was something that I had the biggest issue with. Oh, Krabby Patty is here, says LOL. Sorry about that. I mean, I love a good fantasy. I love, like I said, this is fantasy fulfillment. You got grandma punching out one of the bad guys, one of the huge goons. Hilarious. It's wonderful. Yeah, you understand what that's all about, right? David and Goliath. Love it, love it, love it. But at some point, where are we getting the reality part in there? So we can integrate the fantasy and the reality. I love when it's done right. Krabby Patty says if she didn't have her copy paste moves ability, her best option besides running away would be to use that leg as a baton. Yeah, but I mean, if her yeah, I didn't know if her moves were which is they did it better in the comics, right? Sorry, they did. They did. I was just like when I was looking up her story origin, it made so much more sense. It really did. It made so much more sense. I'm like, oh, okay. And they still honored her past, and they still honored her heritage. It was told differently, but it was definitely um they could have included all of the extra things that they wanted to include, but also give her some, like, believable skills. Like, where did she get those skills? Why did she get those skills? What pushed her to get those skills? In the comic book, Kingpin devoted a lot of money and time into using her as an asset. He knew he was building a super soldier, right? He knew he was building something that he could use. And so he put her in the best schools and gave her the best training. And she had already mastered the art of copying. And like, she one example, the thing that turned Kingpin into wanting to take her under his wing was that she listened to someone play the piano, and then she totally did played the very same exact thing exactly, um, and she did it through memory, and she did it through vibrations, because remember, she's deaf, she could not hear. So it was done very well in the comics. They knew exactly what to do, how to explain this. And I don't know why it was taken out of the story, because it definitely it fills in a lot of the gaps for me. And so story wise, even though I did enjoy the stuff with the family, I really did enjoy the stuff with the family. I didn't I didn't think every single, we needed to know more about how she plays off of the things that are already in a set universe that we already know is here, right? Hawkeye, Daredevil, Kingpin. We all know about those guys. So how does she work in that universe? That's very important. And William Blake Hall says, suddenly I'm thinking of Rose McGowan's machine gun leg from Grindhouse. Exactly. Do something with that prosthetic leg. It's right there. It's right there. I mean, they could have given her a bionic leg. Okay, remember the $6 million man? Could have gave her a bionic leg and made her given her some super extra kicks. And that's her thing. Imagine her like just like doing windmill kicks all over the place and just destroying people. Like one kick and you're out. Like you've got like this huge big fat welt on your face from one of her kicks, you know? Absolutely would have worked a ton better than just assuming that, I don't know. I think it would have added more to the fight scenes. I like the fight scenes honestly, but it needed more flavor. I needed more. And they said it was mature. I needed to see that. I needed to see the mature stuff that they claimed that was in the story. That was my big thing. But yeah. But otherwise, there is a story there. The story structure is a little wobbly, but it's there. Moonbeam 87 says comics are better. Was she trained by a stick? Well, she did learn how to fight in a gym. Now, that was the only thing that they gave her as far as the background story. And even in the comics, she knew how to read lips perfectly. So, and she knew how to say to speak. She spoke, and so it was very much like people didn't even know that she was deaf because she was able to mimic people who spoke, by just her ability to observe excellently. It was developed, and so that's where I was sort of like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. Um, it developed this superhuman. Krabby Patty says, if I recall correctly, they let Hawkeye's daughter beat Kingpin, so I don't believe they allow Kingpin to be competent. Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see it. Kingpin is, I've heard that, people say that, and I don't know what to say about what they did with his character, because I've never really followed him very closely. Um, but I know fans of, Kingpin fans are very upset at the way that this show ended and the way Hawkeye ended. So I don't know. I don't know, but I I don't have the background for that. I think it ended okay because really there wasn't a fight. I mean, it really wasn't. It really wasn't a fight. I mean, they ended it in sort of a lackluster way. I really wanted to see them go at it. They've been at it through, opposing each other throughout the entire story of 5 episodes. I wanted to see them really fight and duke it out. I wanted him to be like, "You're gonna come back with me to New York, even if you're in a body bag." And I wanted to say, "Over my dead body." And they're just like, "Ah, go at it." And of course, don't you just love a scrappy underdog that has, that struggles the entire way, and then finally some little, Achilles heel, and they win. You gotta try something like that, please. And Unicorn Rabbit, didn't the Iron Fist, Daredevil side characters Misty Knight and Colleen Wing have bionic appendages? You're probably right. You're probably I don't know. I just thought, well, it would have been a good thing because she's basically here's what she's a goon for the kingpin at some point. She works for him as his goon, right? You know this. You know this. I'm not teaching it. I'm not you're well person. So I was just thinking of some way in which she can really be a force to be reckoned with in this universe that they created. They've taken away her powers from the comic books and said that she has a different set of powers now. She's a regular person, but she has she has now got the powers of her ancestry that gives her strength every once in a while. And um and so she's in the beginning of the story before she gets these powers or realizes these powers, she's beating up people that are twice her size. And I'm just saying that it would be kind of nice if we had a little bit of an explanation for why she has this specific kind of training. And there's one scene where she hits a guy, in particular she hits a guy and he falls back, but there's no I'm like, is she super powered? Did she get the super serum or something? What are they doing to this character? And Moonbeam 87 says Jamie Summers, the Bionic Woman. Absolutely, I wouldn't mind that. They might need to get. And Unicorn says, just saying, it's um, even if it's just saying, it's even in the adjacent lore to give bionic stuff out. Oh yes, yes, yes. You know, just give her a bionic leg or something. You know, just let her have it, or just make her leg fully a steel leg where she can, you know, when people, I mean, it might be heavy to walk around with a heavy piece of lead or a heavy piece of metal on your leg, but it would it would make sense to for her to like do some damage during the battle, you know. I don't know. Krabby Patty says, but I can't believe she's the underdog if she punches a guy across continents. That's the problem. That's the problem. I love um I I don't have a problem with, you know, a strong female character. I love them, in fact. But I do there's something about certain characters in which they are that kind of like there's the scrappy dudes, right? They're smaller and they are though they're finding resources around them to help them. They are doing things like that. Now, there's one scene in which she does use the resources around her to kind of help her out, but it didn't. That was it. It was like that was the only scene in which we got that, and that was it. And and I thought that it would have been really great that if it was like throughout, if there was some more consistency, there was more depth to how she got her skills set. Again, comics did it better, and I I don't know why they completely took all of that lore away because it was actually really good. It was actually really good. So, um, thoughts about this? I didn't hate it though. I had fun with it. In the comics, I think even now they really souped up her powers. She's like really, she's she's like super powerful now. Yeah, I suppose in other, you know, in the future stuff, she's gonna be doing more of this stuff. And here's a picture of her doing some sort of light therapy with Kingpin. This is the big showdown. Is her touching the Kingpin and using the hands, healing hands of things that her mother taught her, um, that is to heal him of his problems, or I'm not sure exactly what, um, because it goes into this imaginary space where Kingpin is back to where he was as a child, and his father was abusing his mother. And I think they just throw that moment around a lot instead of really playing upon how the seriousness of the situation and the emotional trauma. Now, let me tell you, um, I'll say this: Vincent D'Onofrio is killing this role. He is doing his best. Okay, he's really fantastic. If you're gonna do anything, do it for his performance. His performance is incredible. It really is. It's if you watch this, watch it for his performance. As I said, all of the performances are fantastic, and people are doing an incredible job. And so he's doing what he can with this. But I thought that scene was just a little unexplained and a little weird to like I just wanted a little bit more. Like give me more. Wring the juice out of the lemon a little bit more. Like I needed something more substantial in that scene. Um, and they had their finger on something interesting, and but again it's almost like um, getting a taste of something but not actually eat, consuming the entire thing. So that was a little frustrating. So at the end, this is a picture from another series. This is not what from the movie. He gets mad and he's like, after she's done with this thing that she does, she he says, "What did you just do to me?" And that I was when he said that, "What did you just do to me?" I was like, "Yeah, what did you just do to him?" Like when the audience should not be asking that question and still not get an answer. They don't answer it. Um, so we can only assess that she was trying to heal him of his pain and suffering when he was a child, which I'm willing to accept as an answer, and that anger that he had, he he definitely you know did that. I mean that's he, I think it's one of those moments where it's like uh I think she healed him of his trauma. So he's on the plane and going back home to New York empty-handed. But he does see some information on the news, and it is uh, giving him the idea that he should now go into a different line of work, perhaps politics. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. And I wouldn't have mind that um, earlier in the film. I mean, earlier in the project, and it's one of those things where I felt like the story with Echo and Kingpin should have been half of the story, and the other half of the story should have been us learning who Echo is now that she's free of Kingpin. Like that would to me make sense. I know but then you've got this lackluster ending anyway. So I think, um, yeah. That's the part that it kind of leaves you wanting more, and in a way it could be good. It could be a good thing for those people who want, who are like, hey, let's get more. Let's get more. Um, and so she rides off into the sunset, and she doesn't even stay with her family. Well, no, 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 no. I'm sorry. I take that back. She does stay with her family. It shows. It gave you like, it was weird. It's almost like somebody. Um, the editing is so weird on this. Is they show you her leaving town, and then the next scene, she turns around the corner. It's just so strange. So strange. And so, yes, it is one of those, things where both I had fun with it. I enjoyed a lot of it. Um, I hope my critiques don't make it seem like I hate this project. I did like it. I There were lots of moments to admire about it, but I just did not enjoy. There were quite a few mistakes or issues or questions that it brought up. So, uh, uh, like the whole Kingpin, did he raise her or not? I still don't know. I have no clue what was going on there. And my rating is actually, like I said, it's not that low. It's a 7.5. I did enjoy it. Um, and Liam in Wales is here. How are you, Liam? Says, I wonder if I'm too old for shows like this now. You're never too old for anything, but you can, I don't know. This one, it I don't know. I'm not sure. Depends on your taste. Everybody has different tastes, so I'm not sure if I could recommend it necessarily. But like I said, I had fun where I could have fun, but there are glaring issues with this story. And Patty says, if you heal Kingpin's trauma, you don't have Kingpin anymore. Well, that's what I was saying also too about Echo. They're both like angry people. So what happens when you take away the anger? Like, are they the same? Like, who are they now? And we've got to get to know these new people. And oh, look, Dead Man Walking 55 is here. How are you? Says, good afternoon, Retro Nerd Girl. So good to see you. Yes, any guys, if you want to hang out and have like great conversations about just about anything, including sports, right? Dad Man Walking 55 is here, and check out his awesome YouTube channel. And oh, this is an interesting name. Uh, Gayaki Gayaki 13. Hey, Retro Nerd Girl and chat. Hello, Guy Glack Glacky. I'm not reading it properly. Is it Gaia? Yeah, Gaia. Oh, Gloak, Fleet, Cloak, Glokey. There we go, Glokey. Glokey 13. So good to see you. Sorry about this. Or Glacky. So I must have it. I must have it wrong. Um, yes, and said, Jadman says, "Oh, thank you so much, Ivan. When you're able to drop by when we're talking movies, always fun." Oh yes. Oh my goodness, yes. And uh, Dadman's done some really incredible streams. Like he did a really great one for New Year's Eve, I believe it was. I think it was New Year's Eve. I was just about to go over there, but just when you got off air, so I just replayed it and just played some of it. William Blake Hall says, any relation to Glykin Tris Megatris from the movie The Keep? Oh, I don't know. And Clacky says, LOL, it's from the old Cthulhu. I say Glacky. Okay, Glacky. And Datman says, I love when you're able to drop by. Oh yes, anytime. And William Blake Hall says, I need to know more Lovecraft. Yeah, me too. I need to get into it. And Dadman Walking 55 says, I lasted 21 of about 26 time zones and just ran out of gas New Year's. Yeah, I mean, you did a spectacular um, epic stream is what I call 21 hours. That's pretty incredible. Oh, man. All right, so I think that settles it for Echo. We're now off to box office. So let's see what happened over the weekend for box office. Wonka's number one. That's pretty easy. Night Swim, which I've heard terrible reviews on, is number two. So somebody must be enjoying it. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is number three, which is still a surprise for me. I am shocked that movie is hanging out in the top 10 and the top, above the top 5. Wow, wow, wow. Incredible. Migration is an animated film. That's about all I've heard, but some people have said that it's really good. And that is number 4. Anyone But You, I've never heard of. I haven't heard any comments about it. And so let me know if anybody has heard about Anyone But You. The Boys in the Boat is another one that I have not heard anything about. It is number 6. The Color Purple is number 7. Wow, I'm so surprised it's that low. Wow, wow, wow. That's pretty wild. I would expect that it would be higher. Number 8 is The Iron Claw, and which I heard is fantastic. It carry tissues. I heard. Ferrari is number 9, which is another drama. I haven't heard terribly fantastic things about it, but it does have a star-studded cast, and it should show some promise of some semblance of a good movie. Poor Things is at number 10, just at the very edge of the top 10. And 11 Hunger Games, finally below the top 10 here. It's done very well for itself. The Boy and the Heron is at number 12. Godzilla Minus One is at 13. And I don't understand. Trolls Band Together is still hanging in there at number 14. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, and now the headlines. Well, the headlines for the day, there's a lot of people, unfortunately, that passed recently. And it's really quite sad. We've got Cindy Morgan, who starred in the movies Caddyshack and Tron, died at 69. And this one was really hard for me because I had a huge crush on David Soul, and he left us in 2024. Rest in peace. One of my favorite movies that he's in was Salem's Lot. He was great. He's fantastic in that. Also, Harry Johnson dies, prolific Battlestar Galactica and Order actor who starred in Harry and Louise. Ads was 81. This lady, oh my God, um, GLYNIS Johns, best known for her role as Winifred Banks in the 1964 film Mary Poppins, has died. She was 100. She made it to 100. You wonderful lady. And also, there was another movie she was in. She was in Superstar, and that Molly Shannon movie, and she delivered some of the funniest lines in that movie. And yeah, this is the big thing, and people are just so surprised that Aquaman is doing so well at the box office. And I think the reason why it's doing really well is because it's not really, um, it's an okay movie, and I think people just want to have a little something fun to watch. And it doesn't always happen that way, but in this case, the right timing, it's been working for Aquaman in this particular time slot. And it says here, Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom, at over 250 million, has surpassed the Marvel's box office total, which reached 199 million just 2 weeks after its release. So it's doing quite well. Both have struggled to perform well despite their predecessors earning over $1 billion. But like I said, it is a miracle that Aquaman is doing as well as it did. People expected this movie to flop so hard, and I'm actually kind of happy that it's hanging in there. And unfortunately, this is actually a disturbing story here. Um, the actress Stephanie Jones, sorry, Stephanie Tyler Jones, was a face model for Mary Jane in the Insomniac games, and some people had taken it a little bit too far and decided to contact her at her job and left messages for her and stuff, inappropriate comments and things. So it, the internet is really becoming really a scary place. Um, so yeah, that's scary, um, for you to take a job because you just need work, and suddenly somebody's calling you and messing around with your at your workplace. So let's see what you guys are saying. Some things. um uh Liam says Glynis Johns was amazing. Yeah, she was fantastic. um and and Keith Isa still listening. Wonderful so far. Okay. And um, um, John Walker says, "Oh, hello, RNG, and everyone in the chat." Oh, hello. How are you? Okay. Um, the next one is okay. So look, like, all right. So this is really great. Um, as soon as I was done with the news last week, I find out that David Ayer is like leaving saying, "Oh, I am done with the pursuit of his version of or director's cut of the Suicide Squad." He says that it says here David Ayer is making peace with his Suicide Squad cut never getting a release, but he would love to have at least one funeral screening, even if it's just bringing the cast and crew together to show them what they actually made. That would be fair for everyone. That would be, and I think it may garner um, some actual interest in sharing this with the public, because right now the public is like does not understand what happened in this situation. I keep hearing that, oh yeah, Zack Snyder's situation was a lot different, and so that's why his director cut was released by Warner Brothers, and that David Ayer does not have the right to do that because, um, you know, I don't even know what their excuse is, but he doesn't have the right to do that, and that's not true because there have been many, many directors over the years to have director's cuts of their films, and there is no reason why he can't have a director's cut of his film. I don't see why not. And so he's just giving up on the idea because he's been just asking for it for a long time, and I think um, he doesn't know how to do it. He's just finds himself in a pickle and he's done. And so I hope he does get this funeral screening, if he will, for some of the friends and family, or maybe just of the cast and crew, so maybe they can say, "Hey, look, this film really needs to be seen by the public," um, and make a big stink about it because everybody else like everybody else is just completely oblivious to any injustice done here. So, uh, and unfortunately, people's careers got really trampled on because their scenes were cut, and even to this day, some people have not been able to live it down. So, um, and let's see. And let's see. And Glacky says, "LOL, remembered that Snyder wants a Snyder cut of Rebel Moon." Well, he doesn't want. He never wanted a Snyder cut of Rebel Moon. He wanted to just make his film Rebel Moon, but Netflix wanted him to make a less mature version for everybody to see. Um, so it wasn't his idea to do a Snyder cut of Rebel Moon, and I think they're just going to call it a director's cut, not necessarily a Snyder's cut. So yeah, that's I think it should be really good. It should be really good if it has a lot of the things I think is in it. And let me see. And let's see. Here we go. So CBS can breathe a sigh of relief. Globes appears to be on the up and up with 9.4 million live same-day viewers tuning in to watch the 81st annual ceremony, up to 50% from 2003's show, according to early Nielsen data. And yes, this has been a problem for these award shows, just getting people to watch. And I noticed there was a lot more coverage of the red carpet too, which is I know there's a whole segment of people that don't care anything about it, but this kind of regalia is definitely the stuff that's like very important to um, for these shows to continue to keep going. And so, like, I think none of you may not like award ceremonies. May Some people may think that they're a waste, but for a lot of these shows, they actually build exposure to a lot of movies that you wouldn't otherwise hear about or see, or actors that you would never otherwise know about. So I think they are important, just to let us know about what these actors and actresses are what projects they're doing and what their capabilities are. So um, I do like that. Um, and but there was an issue. There was an issue on the Golden Globes. Coach Joe Coy. I've never heard of this individual before. If you guys have heard of him, please let me know about it in the chat. Uh, he says, reflecting, I'm sorry, Coach Joy reflecting on negative reviews of his debut hosting gig at the 2024 Golden Globes, tells GMA that the criticism stings and that he understands the backlash over the now infamous Taylor Swift joke. And I think he should actually be given a second chance to do it if they will let him do it again. Because, it could be a bit of nerves going through, to do this. And sometimes these events can be very, seeing how some people act, it can be very cringy. So I don't know. I feel bad for him, but I also, you know, no one wants to be the butt of anybody's joke. So you go to an event to have fun, and then not you don't want to necessarily be the center of their jokes. So it's a hard one to do that, but um, some people enjoy it because they're like, oh, I get some name recognition. This is great. But I don't think Taylor Swift needs any more. I think she's doing fine. Entertainment Tonight did cover William Dafoe's receiving the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. We talked about this last week, and here he is enjoying his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He's much deserved of that star for sure. I thought for sure he had one before, but I'm so glad he finally got his star. Ooh, yikes! Look, Krabby Patty here. That would be true if they actually handed out awards to people who deserve them. It's only slightly more popular because they did that. They did what Ricky Gervais told them to do. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I did not know that. But yeah, the awards never go the way I want it to ever go. But I do think that it's important to share movies and have that thing, that interaction amongst the people in the industry. And like he says, uh, it's true, he has done a lot to deserve the star. Yes, he certainly has. Now, so we have a few more awards left for the season, and it is really we got a lot more to go before we get to the Academy Awards on March 10th, but there are a lot more to come. In 2 weeks, we've got the Critics' Choice Awards, and after that, the Emmy Awards. Very, very exciting. Now, the next subject matter, I'm going to have a ask that we're going to talk about the subject matter, but I ask that you guys be very respectful in the chat as much as possible, and that we don't say any like negative comments about people we don't know personally. In this case, I just I don't want it to become um, a political issue, or I don't want to talk about any of the other stuff other than this particular subject for what it is, but also don't want to be negative in the process. So, or yeah, negative is the best word. So, we had an interview this Monday about um, from Jonathan Majors at ABC News Live, or we could say Good Morning America, and he um, my comments on this particular interview, what I could gather from the interview was that it did not go as planned. People did not take um, a liking to this interview, or they did not take Jonathan Majors' side during this interview, and it is truly unfortunate because I think if I were his PR person, I would have said not to do this right at this time, to wait until after the sentencing, and after, if it's possible to complete the sentencing, then come out with the tell all gritty interview, sharing everything, and get public opinion back on your side by at that point. So uh, it is a bit, I think, too soon for him to make some of the comments he's making, because it can actually hurt his sentencing at this point. Um, and that would be even more tragic. We've got some comments from Unicorn Rampant Studio. My two favorite William Dafoe performances, Apocalypse Now and The Life Aquatic. Okay. I did see Apocalypse Now. I probably won't see that again. But The Life Aquatic, I will have to check out. Let me just write that down. Okay, yeah, I wrote that down. Just write this. Okay, I'll write that down. And William Blake Hall says, I've been liking Dafoe ever since he played Raven Shattuck in Streets of Fire. Ooh, you brought it back. You just went in the DeLorean and went back in time. Oh man. And Krabby Patty says William Dafoe is always good. Yeah. Pretty much. And Unicorn Rampant Studio says, I tried to watch the interview. Having listened to some of the audio and following the case closely, I felt like he did not help himself. I agree. It's sad, but true. And it's really interesting because he revealed a lot about his childhood. Not everything, but he did reveal some information about his struggles a little bit with depression, and he seems to also have a problem answering questions like normal human beings do. and which is kind of strange because I totally understand his language. I totally understand it. I totally understand his language, but no one is getting it. No one's understanding him. He's not um he's not making sense to everyone. And so this is a big problem. And like I said, he could have by saying the things that he said, he could have extended or have made more severe his sentencing. He should have waited till after the sentencing, and also perhaps, like I said, perhaps maybe even just fulfill the sentencing if it's like house arrest, community service. That those are easy things you could do. And look, even if he feels like he's innocent of this entire thing, he has admitted to be the cause of this entire situation. And let's say this led to a passing or something. And I felt like if he's going to say he was the culprit in this of starting this situation, then just go ahead and do the sentence, whatever that is. It doesn't prove that you're guilty. It's just taking ownership of something. Um, Krabby Patty says, honestly, I almost forgot about it until you just mentioned him again. You shouldn't have done that interview. It's too soon. You can't do an interview like this right now. Not right now. His PR people. Well, it turns out that his PR person is married to his lawyer. That's a problem. Unicorn Man, it's a big problem. Unicorn Man says The Life Aquatic was an early Wes Anderson film right after Rushmore. Those are those are the two best and Wes Anderson films. With the Royal Tannenbaums. Okay, right behind them. Okay. Oh, hit the button too quickly. Oh yeah, I've done that so many times. And Devin Walking says, I'm not sure why any attorney would allow their client to talk before sentencing. Strange, but then again, can't stop people from doing what they're doing. Yes. And you know, I'm completely surprised that he would actually that they actually thought this was going to be something good. You do it after. You do it after, and you appeal after. You talk about appealing after. Now, he can still come back from this. Honestly, he can. He can still come back to it, but he's got to follow a strict regimen of of absolute silence. Absolute silence. Say nothing, do nothing, speak to no one. Not right now. And Deadman Walking 55 lawyer and PR person are married. Okay, that's strange. And still, any attorney encouraging this? Well, the PR person got paid, so this is maybe money talks. Look, if he has an idea and he wants to do something and he thinks, hey, this is going to change something. This is my, okay, so I've got a couple arguments here too. And Deadman Walking says, anything you say can be used against you. Yes, it can. Still can. So here's one of the things I think about also this. He says that he didn't take the stand because what else was he going to add to what was already said? Then why do this interview? Why do this interview if everything had been said that needed to be said? A big mistake. Should have taken the stand. Even if it looked like if he was gonna look stupid, he should have taken the stand. You don't give up an opportunity to be questioned by the opposition, especially if you're innocent. And that's what a lot of people are wondering. Now, based on the evidence that was showed in those videos, I don't think that girl had any injuries until after she left the club. That's my assessment. As you look at the pictures and you ask yourself about the injuries, I don't care how drunk you are, how much alcohol you've had, how numb you are. If your ear is lacerated, you would be bleeding profusely. Where's the blood? And the way she's handling everything and all of the videotapes, she's not gentle with her fingers at all. She's not gentle with the hand that she hurt herself with at all. So the reporter asks, how did she get those injuries? He could have easily said there were hours that we weren't together. She could have easily hurt herself during those hours. How I just said something which he should have said so easily. And it escaped him to say that. But to say continuously, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. You can't say that when you're already assumed to be guilty because it looks like you're not taking responsibility. I know it's a catch 22. It's a catch 22. You don't win any situation. Just saying. Just saying. It's wild. I feel bad that this is happening like this because I see somebody who is having a hard time like speaking, and I'm like, if you could just figure out what the right words are to tell these people, and then he doubles down on some other cringy stuff. That is like, no, no, no. It's like, I just wanted to tell him, no, 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 stop speaking, stop it, stop it, stop telling people that. When he started talking about the whole Coretta Scott King thing again, just that's like, no, 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 that's the private stuff. You say in private, you don't say that part out loud. You don't say that part out loud. You really don't. Wow. Oh, you guys said a lot. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me see if I can catch up with you guys. All right. Krabby Patty said, at this point, he looks like he's pulling the victim card with any information he puts out there. Even if I believe him, I'd be questioning his behavior. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wait to get sentenced. Most likely, he can complete the sentence. He has the fortitude to do it. And then he does his interviews, and all he has to say is, look, whether you believe me or not, I've paid the price. Okay, I have done the time. So then you have a leg to stand on. You have nothing to stand on. You had an opportunity to speak in court and you gave it up. What? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And Liam in Wales says, I worked in a nightclub. It's super normal that people had silly fights out for a night. It seems like a normal stupid fight to me, and I don't really care about. Yeah, I've had them too. I used to work and I used to promote parties at night. I mean, I loved promoting parties, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and there were many days where people would be like, you'd have somebody hurt or whatever, but alcohol can get to you through some of it, some of the pain, but y- y- it's not going to get you through everything. It's not going to stop you from bleeding. And John Walker says, RNG, you would be awesome on CSI. I miss my calling, huh? And Devin says, "Oh yes, looking like you're not taking accountability can really work against you in the sentencing phase. Again, why didn't they stop him?" Exactly, exactly. The prosecutor said he doesn't get it. He does. They put out a statement saying pretty much he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand that his actions could have led to her getting hurt. Now, like I said, if she had passed, let's say she had passed that night because of his actions, okay? Now, is it a crime for you to, cheat on your girlfriend or be a bad boyfriend? It's not. It's not a crime. But if you are opening up a can of worms to see what will happen, anything goes. So you got to take responsibility for your actions or for what happened. It doesn't matter whether he's guilty or not. Like literally, I don't think he did. But even still, he has to take responsibility for this. He also has to take responsibility for not making the correct decision by getting on the stand. Again, his fault. You can't keep shoving it off to other people for other reasons all the time. At some point in your life, to take your own power back, at least even take responsibility for what you've done. Okay? It's not fair, and it's not, you know, it's not the greatest thing to happen to a person, to lose everything, to lose your entire, career, but you've got to take responsibility. Even and the sentencing was not going to be that severe, but they may give him the strongest sentence that they can now that he's come out and said the things that he said in public. They might just do that, and which is terrible because it might have not been even anything more than house arrest or community service. And Moonbeam says, yeah, there are a lot of small veins in the face. Hollywood doesn't do head wounds correctly. I had a head wound and there's blood everywhere. Um, well, yeah. I mean, this happened in New York, but this uh, is, if you're bleeding and not just a cut, we're talking about a laceration. Where's the blood? And whatever's happening there's a ton of blood. Yeah. And Katie says, as far as doing the interview, our favorite phrase at work used to be, "It seemed to be a good idea at the time." Yes. Yes. Oh, Danny Staten is here. Hi, hey, Danny Staten says greetings from South Carolina. So good to see you. Oh my goodness. And Moonbeam says, Retro Nerd Girl, CSI Moon. There's an idea for sure. Wow. Okay. Yes. CSI Moon. Wow. 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 Thanks for indulging me today, guys. You guys are just awesome. I didn't, we talked about it, a few weeks ago. And I just wanted to follow up on this since he made this thing. And I felt like it was one of the things that I felt needed to be talked about, as far as just seeing it. There's something about this that's just kind of like, I have two ideas in my mind. One is, yes, it's terrible that this happened, but also now that it has, somebody has to take responsibility. And if you want to be a leader and you want to be a great person and you want to be a person with integrity, you've got to take responsibility for this. It's not too big of an ask. And it won't be even on his record with good behavior. It's never going to happen again. Move forward and start treating your girlfriends with some respect. Or try not to get a girlfriend, if you're finding the negative signs that are there, that she could be toxic. I think a lot of people will do so much in order to not be lonely, and it's crazy. Like, he should have made that decision a long time ago, last year, when they made that audio tape. It's terrible to think that she was recording him back then. Like, I can't even imagine I can't imagine doing that to somebody I'm actually with, like recording them. That's a big betrayal. Big betrayal to record someone who is telling you or having a private conversation with you, to record them. I'll say that for sure. That's horrible. Because I don't think he meant for that whole conversation of "I'm a great man" and all that stuff to come out into the public. But then he's also like doubling it down on it and talking about it like, this is stuff you don't. I know you're trying to explain it, but you're not you're not doing it in a way in which everyone will understand. So it's really tough to hear him say those things. It's just like, oh no. There's another issue I have too. And so Keith E says, you might want to sneak this on your thumbnail to draw some eyes to the content. Just thinking. Oh, thank you, Keith E. You're so sweet. Unicorn says, treat your girl with respect and thank you for refocusing everything on what's most important in truth. Yeah, be truthful to each other. This isn't working out. This isn't this isn't something that I want for myself. I don't think you should, be lovey-dovey one minute and then be like, okay, we're done the next. I think it should be more like, hey, this isn't working. And so I think there's a lot of stuff going on there. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Um, he says he's doing the work, which is great, to help himself do better. And I think that's great. One other thing I wanted to mention too was that he was asked, "Do you think you still have a career in Hollywood, or do you think your career in Hollywood is over?" And his answer was, "Oh no." And I'm like, "You're not the judge of that. You can't just say that." he could be absolutely true. He could come back. His career can come back easily, but you have to come at it as in a place of being humble, humble, right? Humble. You're asking people to do something. You're asking people to look away from of a situation that's in front of them that's abhorrent. And so instead of like continuing on with this, like I'm, great. No, just bring it down to earth and say and speak to your fellow man and say, look, I really want to, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I like actually show people that this is not just another breeze for you. A lot of people think that he thinks he's just gonna, skate on by. Show people that you actually are taking this seriously. That yes, your career could be in danger. Even though, we all know we know Chris Brown still has a career. So I, I I felt so I was just like, "No, that's not the words you use for this. You need to use different words." Unicorn Rampant Studio said it's not even about the legalities and stuff. It's how you handle yourself in light of the circumstances. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. You have to do it in a certain way in which people can see that you're actually taking things seriously. Not only that you're taking things seriously, is that whatever part you had to play in it, even minutely, that you're willing to pay the price that's needed. You don't. We're not talking about months and months in jail for this, but we're talking about like these are misdemeanors. Okay, these are misdemeanors, which is a miracle that they didn't think the other two was applicable. So yeah, I Unicorn Rampant City also says, but also you have to love the person, and why you would confide in someone like that if you don't really love them, and you're not going to convince them to be on your side by behaving that way. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, to me, I'm like, I hope, like, if I have to have a conversation, I was like, I need you to be X, Y, and Z. Like, I think you can say that, but I think it shouldn't be in the fit of an argument. It should be in an environment where you're actually conversing with each other and sharing ideas. Okay, if you're in an argument because somebody's drinking and doing things that you don't want to have them do because of your public image, that should have been the last day they spoke. Wouldn't have this trouble. Liam in Wales says, I I'd have been fine if he was head down for a year or two. Wow. Even if he didn't do it? Oh my goodness. Um, or do you mean if he held his head down for a year or two, just stay low? I see what you're saying. Just stay low and just chill for a while. Let the hoopla die out a little bit until people are like, yeah, no, that doesn't matter. That I don't care. And also, he can do some work on himself during this time. He can work on himself, work on his communication skills, and actually understand what it is that he needs to say to take up for himself. They didn't understand. See, this is why I have some sympathy for him. I don't think he knows the words to take up for himself. I don't think so. I think he's concentrated on acting, and that was his, his way of defeating his demons. Acting. Well, now it could possibly be gone. Now what? He's got to work on himself. And it sounds, people. I know I've heard people say that it sounds like he's a narcissist and is this. Fine. Get some help. Get some therapy. And learn language that human beings are speaking, because that's the thing that's happening here. He's not communicating in a way we understand. Like I said, I totally understand what he's saying. I get it, but it's not coming off that way. It's coming off as arrogant. It's coming off as like somebody who does not really understand that their actions affected other people to the point that they got hurt, and also that he is he's not just an average person. He is a celebrity. He is if he wanted to be a representation of a community, and he is. It's unfortunate, but he is. And so with that burden, he needs to understand that he has to take the responsibility for this, whether they're right about his guilt or not. It's just it's the it's the way it goes. It's Volcano says Disney already dropped him like a hot potato. Very likely he can recover. He can recover. It's small independent films. Absolutely, he can recover. Like I said, Chris Brown still has a career, and he actually beat up Rihanna. We saw the pictures. Okay, he actually did lay a hand on her, and nobody cares today. Nobody cares. Dadman Walking says judges are big on this after convictions, or especially when you plead. It can lead to harsher sentence by sounding like you're making excuses. Yes. Yes, you don't, not now. Not now. You've got to do it after you've done the time, which is probably not going to be much. After you've suffered and you've gone through all of that, yeah, you were innocently put away, fine. Come out with your tell-all story to every blog, to every podcast, to, write a book if you need to. But for goodness sake, don't start doing that before the sentencing. The sentencing is just like, what, a few weeks away? My goodness, why would you jeopardize your freedom like that? So whoever's giving him advice is just, they're really horrible. Liam in Wales says, yep, he was, if he was out of the spotlight and let the public forget the problem. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let the public forget the problem. Assess what you need to say, too. He needs to figure out what the words are that he needs to say and how he can say it, because he hasn't figured that out yet. And Grabby Patty says, instead of doubling down, he should play into his ego after he served his sentence. Exactly. Just serve that sentence. It's not going to be much. But now I'm kind of nervous. Now a little bit nervous. They might give him more than he would have had otherwise. At least I'll find him entertaining and value entertainment highly, so he'd get a pass from me. So yeah. I mean, also, if the jury found him guilty of those misdemeanors, and he has done his time. Whether when he comes out to say his truth, people will be like, okay, well, he did do his time. So either which way, whether you believe him or not, he still has done the time that was allotted to him by the jury. We're not talking about a life sentence. We're not talking about 20 years in jail. We're not talking about 5 years in jail. Well, I hope we're not, right? By by keeping quiet, it probably would have been house arrest and community service. I mean, I'm just scared for that sentencing. I hope they don't. I'm just like, I'm so scared for that sentencing. And they should have told him that in the interview so he can have relaxed a little bit. The Chris Brown has a career thing. Yeah, he still has a career. I mean, he has gone through a lot. People don't let him forget about what happened, but he still has a career. So, uh, and Volcano says, "Is he guilty at all?" This reminds me of the Depp Heard case. Exactly. I agree. I agree. It does sound very much like two people who were not really for each other, still trying to hold on to the bare knuckle it in a bad relationship, and this was part of the result. I think I expressed earlier that I feel, and look, I could be wrong, but according to the video evidence, I believe that whatever injury she got was after her night out at the club. Okay, that's what I think. So between that and I wasn't there, I don't know. But when looking at that video, you're wondering, okay, the injuries she had, she should have been affected by at least one of those injuries, right? A laceration on the ear. How much alcohol do you need to drink in order for that to be numb? And the blood to magically not even be there. At least even holding the ear would have been like, if she was like, like, oh, my ear, holding her ear like that, you'd be like, oh, something's going on with that ear. She did none of that. At one point, with the hand that she had a fracture on, a guy had her hand and was twirling her around the dance floor with a fractured finger. She'd feel that. She's digging into her purse with a fractured finger. Should be tender. Should be tender. She's doing everything as normal. I mean, if that's the case, she needs to share the drugs she's on, because so yeah, that is a really serious thing. I don't want to make any, assumptions, but from the visual that you can see, that's where I'm gathering the information from that. Um, and John Walker says he could do some charitable work and buy John Walker a Ferrari. Yes. And Moonbeam says, fractured finger, owie. Yeah, that hurts. Yeah, that hurts. Um, I mean, so, and I think the location, even the location, they should have brought in a medical expert to analyze those videos and to describe completely how injuries would have seemed at that point in time. Another channel did that, a legal channel, brought in a medical expert, and they examined all of the video footage, and she was like, "Yeah, that doesn't look like the kind of injury that you would get from someone pulling a phone out of your hand. The location, the location of where the actual fracture was on her finger indicated that." And so it's really it's fascinating. It's a fascinating case because honestly, I didn't think it was going to go this insane. To be about very very frank with you, I did not have any idea that they were going to do that. Krabby Patty says, I would say we know Depp's behavior. He goes to charity with his Jack in the Box um, on his own time. He lets his friend live with him rent free. Literally, compared that to Jonathan, we don't know him. That's another problem. Jonathan has been, like I said, focused on acting. A lot of people have said that he's very cold. And I think that's also part of the reason why people were ready to come out and say, "Oh yeah, he was a jerk and he was this and he was that." Because he's not trying to make friends. He's, he's very dedicated to acting. So I think in that regard, he became disassociated even more so with people. And he may have had something to do with his childhood. He said he had depression, suffered from depression, and thoughts of not being part of um, the world. There's no other, better way to describe it. But at a very young age, as a boy, that's telling me a lot without telling me a lot. Okay, so something deeper is going on there. He's got to get the help. He's got to get the help. He said he's doing the work, and I hope he is getting um, some treatment and regular counseling because he should really get to the bottom and verbalize exactly what's going on with him emotionally and to do with his childhood. And he said that had to do with some of the comments he made in text messages about not being here anymore, and he's working on himself. This is good. This is good. But uh, that was about the only good thing that he mentioned in the whole thing. He definitely took credit for the fact that his actions led to this, but did not take responsibility for hurting her, which he didn't have to. But what he did have to do um, is not do this interview now, and also not tell, not talk about appealing the judgment. Okay, because that's another thing. Him boasting, "I'm gonna appeal. I'm gonna appeal. I'm gonna appeal." That's also messing around with his sentence. Like, you're not taking this seriously. You think you can just throw money at this problem and get everything fixed. That's not my personal opinion. That's what I'm hearing. And it's not working. You got to try a different method, and silence might be the proper one at this point until you get the proper moment to speak. And Volcano says Hollywood is such a crazy environment. DiCaprio is the smartest one because he's still unmarried. No way to destroy his career. I don't think that's true. I mean, there are a lot of people in Hollywood that are married that are doing very well. I think in regard to this particular case, it wasn't because of his he was cheating. And so that he was not married as well. So, and I think the problem with, I mean, DiCaprio, I think nobody really, I don't really think anything of him. I know there's some people who are mad at him because of his girlfriends are always younger than 25, and he could do whatever he wants. I mean, that's his thing. The girls find him attractive. I'm not gonna stand. I don't think it's my place to say anything. Um, but I think as far as him not like facing any issues, he could still, one of the girls could always come out and say, "Oh, he brainwashed me," and you know, it's very easy for them to do that. So I wouldn't count on it. But yeah, I wouldn't count on it because we're hearing news all the time of some new person accusing another person of abuse during their relationship. So I don't think that excuses him. Um, and I also think there's, you know, like I said, there are a lot of people in Hollywood that are married and they're doing just fine. Their career's fine. And Krabby Patty says, "What happened in his childhood?" That's what we want to know. I mean, this is where after he's done, right? After he's done with the sentencing, and he can come out and talk to all the blogs and tell us what happened with his childhood and tell us why, what's going on with him and share a little bit because he's kept everything secretive. When he goes out to do a lot of these press junkets, he's basically just talks about the character and the movies. It doesn't really offer up any like personal stuff. So this is his opportunity to actually get more intimate with his audience or just people in general in the in the public sphere to get to know him. How can we you don't usually you don't trust people you don't know. If you don't know somebody, usually it takes a little while before you trust them. You get to know them, they share a story about themselves, and then you're like, I get this person. But he hasn't shared anything about himself. We barely see him out when he's out. He, I mean, I had never even seen him with a girlfriend until these pictures popped up of Grace Jabari. I was like, oh, he was dating people? I mean, it's so weird. Unicorn Rampant Studio says, I've been clinically depressed my entire life. That plus other issues, and I've still only chased. I've only chased one person up the stairs one time. And everything else was consensual arguments. Yes. And he said, "This is dark humor." Well, you see, I'm laughing. Yeah. I mean, look, I I'll tell you, I've not been the best, girlfriend either, or perfect. I've lost it a few times, trying to hold on to, weak relationships, and that's something that people are just gonna go through. And should you learn from those lessons? Yes, you should. Should you, and that's another thing, like, did he learn anything from this besides that? Like, he says that he should have left the relationship early. Good. He knows that. But at the same time, the hurt and the pain that you claim that you know you caused this person, but you don't want to take any ownership of any of the things that went down that night. You like, nobody cares that you didn't hit her, right? I don't think anybody cares about that. They're already on, they it's the attitude like, I'm just going to get out of this situation by throwing money at it, and he needs to s- stop the no more interviews, wait for the sentencing, complete the sentencing, then tell all. Then tell us everything. And oh, Bonzo Kilborn is here. Hello. How are you? How are you doing? And Krabby Patty says, because right now I can guarantee that no one has had a normal childhood or gone through childhood without depression. If anyone goes, everyone goes through these phases. Yes, and everybody has a different story. Some people's stories are very similar, but not quite the same. So with him sharing, people can have more empathy for him and his situation and understand, what's going on. So it's good. I think it's something that he should definitely talk about. And uh, William Blake Hall says, all due respect, this one getting thrashed out for what feels like a half hour. Sorry about that, William. um, and William Blake Hall says, I think we're pretty much in agreement. I think so. Yes, yes, I think so too. And Mike French says, he returned his career around. Mike French. And Bonzo says, just stopping in to say hello, but can't stay. And Krabby Patty says he needs to hire RNG and this chat. We do it for free and get results. Yes, I didn't mean for it to go on for that long. I just feel passionate about. I feel bad about seeing people suffer like this, and if he had just gotten some good advice not to do what he's doing. Um, and before we go and bid our adieus, I will just review just some things that are happening this week. So tomorrow, oh no, sorry, not tomorrow, but Friday. Friday, I'll be talking about 1984. It's been 40 years, so let's talk about the one of the most incredible years in pop culture history, uh, to do with movies, music, whatever. It's going to be a free for all, so nothing structured just yet. I'm going to also do some follow ups to this a few weeks later, where we can talk more exclusively about movies and TV, and music, TV, and movies. So that will be super, super fun for us to do. All of our favorites. We'll talk about all of our favorite things from 1984. And on Saturday, I'll be talking about I'm sorry, on Saturday, we'll be doing the watch party for Journey to the Center of the Earth. Um, I think, I'm not sure, but just double check the time on that. I had to make it just a little bit earlier because my I have such a crazy schedule on Saturday now, and I had to push it down a little 1 hour earlier. Um, Next Wednesday, I'm going to be looking at this really cool animated show on Netflix called Blood of Zeus. Doesn't that sound interesting? I'm going to be looking at that. Let me remove this. Actually, let me remove this. Let's remove this. I don't need this on. Um, Sorry about that, guys. We're moving on to another subject matter. Yeah, so Blood of Zeus. That is really piquing my interest. I can't wait to look at this. and let you know what I think of this series in total. Then next Friday we're going to be doing a year. It's going to be my anniversary, a year of streaming on YouTube. So I can't wait for that. We are just I don't know. I'm really like jazzed about making it a year, and it just feels great. It just feels great. And for my 50th live, right, I am going to be watching the movie Casablanca with you guys, and that is going to be a lot of fun. I am so excited. I'm trying to think if there's any other. Um, there's a whole bunch of movies that's coming up for watch parties, but I also wanted to get a fresh perspective from you guys. And so I'll probably ask you on Saturday to leave your favorite movies that you think would be good for um, either of me to do a first watch. I can watch for the first time, or if I could do a watch party, let me know. And yes, once again, I'm sorry I went on too long about the about the whole thing with Jonathan Majors. I'm just concerned, and I'm really you know I feel bad about all parties involved. Everybody. Um, Unfortunately, I I do feel really terrible. It feels really icky just thinking about it. And so I just wanted to say it 2 cents. It ended up being $20. Oh man. And William Blake Hall says my favorite Kane was Michael uh and Sarah in the Star Trek and in the original Star Trek. I need to refresh my Star Trek original Star Trek. 350 is 350. Thank you, Krabby Patty. And William Blake Hall says 1984 was a stack year, wasn't it? It's wonderful. And William Blake Hall says you must grab him and take him. That's right. That's from Conan the Destroyer, right? And William Blake Hall says the original Journey with James Mason. That is correct. 1954. Am I correct in the year? Yes. And William Blake Hall says Blood of Zeus, the Wonder Woman story. No, no, this is a totally different story that's on a fresh series, animated series on Netflix. I'm really going to be excited to look at that. But I should do Blood of Zeus, Wonder Woman story. I need that one. Uh, Mike French says, "Congrats on a year. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. That's so sweet. Thank you, Mike." And Wayne Blake Hall says, "Here's looking at you, retro." and John Walker says, "Superman 1978 would be great." I have a copy. All right, let's see if I can put this on. Let me write it down somewhere. So, Superman 1978. Yep. Okay. So, we'll see about doing that in the next few weeks. And I gotta go. Attached to the end. Ciao for now. Okay. And John Walker is saying bye. And let's see. And Krabby Patty says, "Where's that Conan bot when you need him? Conan, what's best in life?" Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, Conan. Wait a minute. Did I show? Did I watch the first Conan with you guys? did I watch the first Conan with you guys? Because if I did, I should probably add that to my list. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for indulging me when I really went off the deep end this time. I feel so bad. I didn't really mean to go so far off the deep end. Thank you, William Blake Hall, for bringing us back on shore. And also, thank you, everybody, for just being so kind and, and just being my friend. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm sure you yes, I definitely reviewed it. I just wanna, um I don't think we actually, showed it, so I think maybe I could do that too, but I like to do one something that I did not cover before. Let's do it all. Let's just do it all. Have a great evening, Orangey, and everyone in the chat. Oh, thank you so much, John Walker. You guys are so wonderful. All right, I see I'm collecting more bye-byes for the outro, so let me get started with it. I'll just highlight. Hold on. The technical parts to this is just too much. All right. Well, without further ado, I bid you adieu, and I'll see you in the next video.
Retro Nerd Girl, you are clear for takeoff.